My aunt served me with a cease and desist at my daughter's school bake sale, claiming she owned Grandma's cookie recipe. Then Grandma showed up in her CrossFit gear. My Aunt Kathy had been plotting this ambush for months, according to my cousin, who warned me 10 minutes too late. She'd paid some strip mall lawyer $800 to draft a cease and desist with embossed letterhead and gold foil seals like she was serving papers from the Supreme Court. She hired a process server to deliver it at the Spring Fair bake sale during peak hours because Kathy believed public humiliation was legitimate legal strategy. The process server looked mortified as he handed me the envelope while I was arranging snickerdoodles and had to announce loudly that I'd been legally served, which made several kindergartners cry. Kathy stood behind him wearing designer sunglasses indoors and fresh Botox that made her face look permanently shocked while recording everything on her phone. "Those are my mother's secret recipes, and you're running an illegal bakery using my inheritance," she declared, at a volume that made the gymnasium echo while gesturing at my card table holding 12 dozen cookies. She'd been telling her Pilates studio that I was operating some underground cookie cartel when this was literally a fundraiser where we charged $2 and accepted IOUs. As the eldest daughter and executor of the Family Recipe Trust, I'm shutting down your operation effective immediately. The cease and desist was 12 pages of insanity that Kathy had clearly dictated while drunk on wine and rage about not being invited to my wedding 6 years ago. It claimed she had exclusive hereditary rights to the family heirloom recipes and demanded $8,000 in damages plus monthly royalties for every cookie I'd ever baked. She'd attached a family tree from a genealogy website where she'd photoshopped a crown on her head and drawn arrows pointing to herself labeled rightful recipe heir in Comic Sans. Section 4 states you have 72 hours to cease all baking activities and surrender my recipes, she shrieked, while her husband Carl stood behind her trying to look threatening in boat shoes and salmon shorts. The letter accused me of violating something called the maternal recipe succession protocol, which she definitely made up and claimed Grandma had signed a deathbed recipe transfer in 1987, which was fascinating since Grandma was currently at water aerobics. Kathy kept announcing that she was defending her birthright and that I was a recipe thief exploiting a sweet elderly woman who couldn't defend herself. My poor mother is probably spinning in her grave knowing her recipes are being prostituted at a public school. That's when we heard the Harley. The motorcycle roared into the parking lot with custom pipes so loud that every car alarm started going off. Grandma dismounted wearing metallic purple leather pants and a neon green tank top that said, "Gilf, Grandma, I'd like to fight," in holographic letters. She was 78 years old with deltoids that could cut glass from her CrossFit obsession that started when Grandpa died, and she decided grief was just weakness leaving the body. Her silver hair was in double Dutch braids, and she wore competition lifting gloves with brass knuckles printed on them. "Did I just hear someone say I'm dead and buried?" Grandma roared across the gymnasium. She power walked through the crowd carrying her gym bag, which made the floor shake with each step. "Did you just tell these people I'm dead and buried?" Kathy's spray tan started running, and she backed toward the emergency exit but tripped over a third grader's solar system project, sending Jupiter into the punch bowl. Grandma positioned herself like she was about to clean and jerk Kathy as the barbell. "I deadlifted 220 pounds this morning, and now I hear you're probating my estate while I'm still doing kipping pull-ups?" Carl tried to speak, but Grandma flexed her bicep at him, and he immediately developed urgent business elsewhere. "You think I'm too feeble to defend my recipes? Well, let me show you what this corpse can do." Grandma slammed her gym bag down and pulled out her phone, showing Kathy something that made her Botox somehow express panic. "This is surveillance footage from last Tuesday of you in my kitchen stealing 2 sheet pans of my cookies while I was at hot yoga." She swiped to Kathy's Instagram where she was claiming to be an artisanal baker selling Grandma's cookies for $40 a dozen at farmers markets. "You burnt water making tea last Christmas, and you're standing here with a legal document claiming you inherited baking skills through genetics?" The entire bake sale had formed a circle, like this was UFC, and the kindergarten teacher started taking bets. "Fun fact, princess," Grandma said, pulling out an official document with actual government seals. "I trademarked these recipes 18 months ago when you tried to steal my pie recipe at Easter." She pulled out another paper that looked expensive and terrifying. "This is a cease and desist from my lawyer who deadlifts 300 pounds and specializes in putting entitled brats in their place." Kathy made a sound like a deflating balloon and started calling Carl, who was already in the parking lot with the engine running. "One more thing, sweet pea," Grandma added while cracking her knuckles. "I'm updating my will tomorrow, and you're getting exactly what you deserve, which is a framed photo of me flexing over your inheritance." Kathy ran toward the exit, but Grandma wasn't finished. "Touch my recipes again, and we'll settle this in the CrossFit box, where I'll show you what real pain feels like." The process server quietly bought $60 worth of cookies while apologizing for his role.